I think this is everyone that's going to be joining us on stream. So hi, everyone. I'm going to do like a little intro of what this group is and what this stream is. And then I think we can do individual introductions of ourselves. And then we have a book to chat about. So yeah, hi, everyone. This is the first meeting / discussion / stream of the Shelf Care Streamer Book Club. I feel a little bit, sorry if my voice is shaking. I'm weirdly nervous. I don't really think I have anything to be nervous about because I know all of y'all and like we're just talking about books, which is my favorite thing in the world. But I'm weirdly nervous, so sorry. But yeah, so this is Shelf Care. We are a streamer book club. We meet periodically to discuss a book together with all of our chats. Thanks y'all for being here. This is a group of people that like reading and books and also like talking about reading and books on stream. And I'm so pleased to have this group together because I think sometimes like the bookish community on Twitch can feel a little bit lonely. Like I think a lot of us are kind of reading and doing our own things with our own communities, which is great and incredible. But I don't see a ton of collaboration, so I'm really pleased to have like a group to collab with. So yeah, that is us. Our founding members of this group are me, not Bella, also Elsavis, Britt Rose the artist, Ellie, Kanessa, Shania, Sage, and Giru. So I'll let everyone introduce themselves. I'm not going to tell you about everybody. But yeah, that's us. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I don't know if we all see the same. Do we see everyone in the same order in this call? I don't know how to confirm that.
Are you on the top in the middle for yourself?
Me? No. I'm on
Then
the top. No. Okay, cool. Then maybe what if we do, can we do introductions in order of the alphabet according to our usernames? Do we feel confident in that?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
huge.
refer to the graphic if you need it, because that's in alphabetical order.
Like the members.
Oh yeah. The graphic and the like members list. Although I'm first in that, so do you want me to go first? I can do that.
Yeah, sure. You found it. You were founder 1. You get to be first as a treat.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm founder 1.
Makes sense.
I'm changing my username. Hello, everybody. I am. Oh, also, okay, wait. I made a list of what we should do for introductions, and then forgot that I made this list. So here's my pitch for introductions. My Google Doc is loading slowly. Hello. Okay.
My Google Docs kept going offline earlier. I was like, stop, I'm setting up.
Oh, please, this is where everything I need is. So my pitch for introductions are your name and username, your pronouns, a little bit about yourself and like the kind of content that you make, whatever, do your thing. And then your favorite book. Sorry to make you choose one, but I will. Great. So yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Bella. My username is not Bella. You can call me either of those. My pronouns are she, they, which means you can use she, her, or they, them, or any combo of those for me. I am a queer content creator. I make, I guess, variety content. I do gaming. I do a lot of book stuff. I do co-working. I love to yap. I feel like I'm in kind of a chatting streamer era. But yeah, outside of content, I own 2 cats. One of them is right in front of me, but he's a little bit shy. He mostly just likes to cause chaos. I like to run, except it's like really cold right now, so I'm not doing that currently. And I also work at a bookstore, so I really love books. But yeah, that's me. My favorite book is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And I will pass it off to Ari, I think.
I was gonna say Sunrise and the Reaping. Dang it.
You can still
pick another
You
one.
can, yeah.
That's a different book.
Is my microphone?
Hi,
is my microphone weird? Sorry.
Okay to us.
Yeah, it sounds normal to us.
Okay, great. Perfect. Sometimes my microphone does get really bad, so sorry. Okay, anyways, Ari, yes, all you.
No, you're good. Hi, I'm Ari, or Elsavis. I also use she, they pronouns, so she, her, or they, them works. For me, I am primarily a Souls-like streamer. I play a lot of hard games right now. It is primarily Hollow Knight Silksong. But I've also done the Elden Ring DLC. I've done what have I ever played ever? Hollow Knight original flavor and some Lies of P. And I'm not very good at them, but I love to play hard games really badly and still do all the hard challenges. Because I think that's fun and we need more of that. I don't like the get good mentality. So I did not get good and I still did all the hard challenges. RE flavor. So that's kind of me. And my favorite book is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. It is the last book in the original Mistborn trilogy. I love it. I cry about it.
What a monster of a book.
Check this
They're all
list.
so long. They intimidate me so much.
My first read this year was Warbreaker, and it was a
Mhm.
688-page book.
Dang.
So I was busy.
Yeah.
Who's next? I don't know.
I think it's
the
Ellie.
alphabet.
Hey, it's me. Hello. Hi, everyone. I start saying that I have internet connection because in Italy, in the night, the internet gets really bad. So if you're watching my stream or if you see me disappear, just know it. Hi, everyone. I'm Helly. I go by she, her pronouns. And well, I do a lot of I do a lot of content. I'm embracing my variety part. So I do a lot of body doubling. I do some gaming, I do some IRL because I love to travel. So we do a lot of things. And actually 2026 is going to be, I decided that it's going to be my bookish year, that I want to focus again on a lot of bookish content. So this book club is absolutely perfect. The favorite book, it's super difficult. I didn't expect to have to start this stream choosing one book from the giant pile of my favorites. But if I do have to choose one, I think I'm going with Blood Over Bright Heaven of M.L. Wong that I read in 2025. It was the best book of 2025 among many others. But if I have to choose one, for now it's that. So I'm really happy to be here. And Bella, thank you so much for having the idea and planting this small seed that is going to grow in something amazing, I'm sure. So thank you.
Yay. Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Mistborn. I have a hold of it on Libby. I'm waiting. It's a very long wait, but
Oh, I'm excited.
It feels like when you just have to it'll come to you when the time is right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then all of the
you
books that you have on
choose.
hold are just like, oh, your hold is done. I'm like, oh, so is
Yeah.
the 3 others I just holded. Okay, cool.
Exactly. Oh my god, I had that happen to me like a month ago where like 7 books came off hold at once and I was like, well, all I'm doing is reading. So wish me luck, everybody.
Suddenly I
Yeah.
cannot talk to anyone. I'm just
Yeah.
it's me
All
alone
my plans are
in my bed.
canceled.
That's it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. Hi, my name is Shania. My username is Shania. I use she, they pronouns. I do a lot of co-working and crocheting. That's mostly what I do, but I also do a lot of gaming. Right now, I'm in my Minecraft era, I guess. I don't know. I just started to become a part of my first ever SMP, so I'm doing that. We are also playing Cult of the Lamb. And I don't know, I do a lot of different games, whatever I'm into. My favorite book, I was going to say, Sunrise on the Reaping. That's what I was going to say, because I think about that book daily. But what I will say is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Obsessed with it. And the second one. But I think that's it.
Nice. Incredible.
Nice.
Hi.
Oh,
Sorry, it's different things.
We
well,
have
if it isn't the
first
devil. She's
Book
so
Sorry,
cute.
she demands attention always.
She needs to do her introduction really quickly.
Yeah. Oh,
This is Fish. She pooped herself live on my stream.
Oh.
Yeah, she
I mean,
pooped
who
her
hasn't
bed
done
live
that?
on stream.
I don't
just
know how I'm
kidding.
gonna follow that up. Oh my god, when the opener is better than the main act. Just kidding. Well, hi. I'm Giru. My username is xgiru. I also just go by Giru online, but I use she her pronouns. I'm a variety streamer and I mostly play JRPGs and visual novels. So right now I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 and Danganronpa V3, and then I also do a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough on Mondays with my partner. So I like story-based games, and I actually recently just got back into reading on a regular basis in 2024 because I was rereading the Aragon like the Inheritance cycle, I think is what it's called, the Christopher Paolini like Aragon dragon books. I'm a big dragon girl through and through, so I love high fantasy. And I think my favorite book right now is, honestly, I do say the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, but right now I think it's The Mad Ship, which is the second book in the second trilogy, which is about traders, basically. Traders and sailors and pirates. It's crazy. The scale of the story and the way she like makes all of these separate plot lines converge together at one point. It's so good. So good at building tension, and I love her world building a lot. So,
That's
highly
awesome.
recommend.
Nice. Sweet. Well, again, thank y'all so much for starting this book club with me and being here today. This is our first meeting of ideally many. And today we're going to be talking about The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami, which I realized I didn't plan to like summarize the book, which I don't know if that's helpful to do. But and I should be able to because I just read it, but it is a dystopian book that I don't like. How do you summarize a book? Anybody better at book summaries?
I'll just read it off of the description.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think from someone that read I mean, we all read the book, but I always read the plot before. It's actually like the the plot that you find. I don't know. I always Goodreads. I always would use a Goodreads because it's the more comfortable just to get the plot. It's actually like the entire book. Like if you read the plot, you know you kind of know the 50% of the book. So I think that from there it's kind of good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like it's like it gave very like it's categorized as a dystopian book, and that felt super right to me. I feel like it is a book that explores like surveillance, like government surveillance, unjust detention, all through the eyes of like our main character, who I listened to the audiobook, and in the audiobook the main character's name is pronounced Sara. Which
Oh.
I it's spelled Sara, and I think if I were reading
Yeah.
it physically I would have just guessed Sarah.
Yeah,
But
that's
the
what I
audiobook,
would, yeah.
yeah, the audiobook pronounced it Sara, so I'm gonna go with Sara. Which yeah. But our main character Sara is like a regular person. Like I feel like before the events of the book there's nothing like super specific or outstanding about her, but she gets detained by the Risk Assessment Administration for being deemed as like a risk of like committing a crime, of like doing something violent. And then the whole entire book is just exploring like why she was detained, what she did wrong, and like also I think the environment that we're in like that allowed for that to happen. Hopefully that's a reasonably helpful brief summary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also a mother with twins as well.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
new
yeah.
mother.
Mother.
Oh yeah, the twins are like when she first gets detained, the twins are like
They're
under
babies.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
they're
think so.
little.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, a universe where you're assigned a score based on like an algorithm that's like the government or someone developed, but uses data from all sources, like private companies and public sources and everything like that.
Yeah.
You read it on a plane, Claire? That's the worst place to read it. What if you got off the plane and they detained?
Oh, yeah.
The start
Oh
of
my
the
god.
book. Yeah.
Oh my
Bad.
god.
Yeah.
Not the best.
A heads up to anyone hanging out in chat. We are gonna like fully discuss this book with spoilers. I feel like this is classic book club vibes. We're gonna talk about our thoughts. We're gonna talk about the beginning, the middle, the end, or whatever parts we want to. So if you haven't read it and you don't love spoilers, I don't know.
Go
you
read
get
it.
to choose. Yeah, go read it really quick right now and then come back.
Read it.
I won't tell you what to do with your life, but just a heads up, we are gonna talk about spoilers. So yeah. But yeah, okay. First, I think before we get like super super deep into it, what did y'all like thumbs up, thumbs down? What did you think of the book? Did you enjoy it? Oh, huge. Oh my God, I love that. I mean, I love doing a book club where some people don't like the book because I think it's fun to like compare different I don't know, thoughts and perception. But also I'm really glad that we started out with like an all thumbs up. I loved this book. I thought it was super well written. I loved the characters. I loved the world building. I loved there were like in between chapters that were like I don't know how to describe these, but there were like regular chapters where you're like, here's what's happening, here's the plot, here are the characters. Yes, there was like there were like transcripts of like the word, like it was kind of world building-y. It was like about the laws in the world, and like there was some like email correspondence and like like a memo in the like sort of facility, stuff like that. And I really liked that. I thought it was super creative and it really made me feel like I was like in the world. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like what helps this book a lot, I think, is that I read the afterword, and the author said that they started writing it in 2014, but then they picked it back up in 2020. So I feel like a lot of the world building benefited from just like it being a shade different than reality now, which I think added a lot to the eeriness of that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it felt very like it was very clear what inspired everything in the book and like what the yeah, like it was I felt like it was very unsettling how realistic a lot of it felt. Like I had to sort of
like terrifying.
yeah. Yeah, because I think and that was like intentional. I think, of course, like it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable. It's meant to be like, wow, this is horrifying and awful, and like, wait a second, this is sort of happening right now. But yeah, it was like I was going back and forth between like, wow, I love this book, and then like, oh my God, this is like, it's freaking me out because I think exactly this is happening right now. Like the things that get her into the facility are different than what we're seeing right now, at least in the United States. It's not the same like circumstances, but it's the same, I think, result, which is really scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
the same thing through a different lens, kind of, I think.
Yeah.
I remember that reading the chapter in which she comes back and she gets detained. I was so mad. I think I never got that mad while reading a book. But I had to close the Kindle and take some deep breaths because I was raging so much.
Yeah.
So much.
Times where it's just like so unfair and unjust. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel like every time she was having a one-on-one conversation with like one of the I don't remember what the like, okay, there's the Risk Assessment Administration, which like determines risk and everything, but then the facility that she's in, is that from the
medicine.
risk? What is it?
No, just the name that is Madison.
Yeah,
I'd
I think it's
say
a private facility. So it's
Yeah.
like comparable to a private prison.
Right. And like
Yeah, but
they
it's
make a big
not
thing.
a prison.
Yes.
it's not a
Right.
prison.
Which that was like I think that was such a really interesting thing to explore. So like, okay, the like crux of it is that all of the people in the facility, Dream Tech, thank you, that's what it was. Hi chat. Yeah, like so like she gets like I think stopped at the airport by the risk assessment agency, but then put into the like Dream Tech facility or whatever. But I think like they make a big point of it's like not a prison because none of the people there they're not like arrested for a crime. They're put in this facility as a precaution because of their risk assessment score. And that was like the most frustrating thing because I think that was so one-to-one of like detention facilities, particularly in the United States related to like immigration. Like it was one-to-one for me where people were being detained and everyone was like, well, you like, it's just a precaution. It's just a precaution. Like, blah, 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 blah. It was like that. Every time the sort of agents and the people in charge were having these conversations of like, well, you shouldn't be mad. We're just trying to make the world safer. Like it's just a precaution. That made my blood boil. That was the hardest part to read and was the most unsettling. Like I like all of the agents were so frustrating because of the way they like abused their power and leaned into that. Ooh, that was the part that made me the most mad of the whole book is all of those people.
Yeah. I think that is like
Agreed.
so I don't want to I'm not okay guys, I'm not going to spoil Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood expansion at all. But if you played the beginning of it, you might know what I'm referencing because I just did this like last week. But it just is like a common theme throughout I feel like any sort of system where there is some sort of social stratification where basically like being a class traitor for lack of a better word, like a lot of times people will be so desperate in their circumstances that they then, or not even desperate in their circumstances, but just because of the way the world is, they adopt the mindset of what I think Bell Hooks calls like the dominator culture, where you're like, well, if I'm in this position, that means I'm better than these people. And so I think that comes up a lot in, of course, like prison and law enforcement, anything like that, where we tell people like, well, you're state sanctioned to punish or control other people.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I think another part that was really hard to read. And like I think the way that the like agents' personalities and mindsets were explored was really important.
Yes. Yeah. I think humanizing people who perpetuate harm and like benefit from cycles of power in that way. I mean, even just to talk about like what's going on right now in America with like ICE agents are being offered like disgusting amounts of money to do the horrible things that they're doing. And so I think not humanizing them in empathizing with them necessarily or feeling bad for them, but understanding like the human conditions that led them to that point is really interesting too.
Yeah. I think that made now a really interesting time to read this book in particular.
I know. I was going to ask if you guys thought it was too on the nose for reading it right now.
So on the nose.
Yeah, it was very I sort of
like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like,
Which I don't think like I didn't know. I understood the premise, but I did not I didn't know what we were going into honestly with this book. And so when I was reading it, I was like, dang, like this was a phenomenally good pick. I think like I don't know. It was so hard to read this book right now, y'all. Like in a good like I couldn't put it down. I loved reading it, but it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because it also like it feels so not like cartoonish, but like it kind of like cartoonish with like them being like, oh my god, we're looking into your brain and stuff, and then you're like, and it feels so like otherworldly, and then it's what's literally happening right now, and it's wild. Like, I was so anxious reading it. Like, my heart was like racing.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
I was
which like
stressing.
the thing. So like the thing that gets Sara detained is that her risk score, which is so one of you mentioned this earlier at the beginning, every person in society has like, or at least in the United States, has a like risk number assigned to them that has like a lot of stuff goes into determining someone's risk score, which like also, okay, side note, this wasn't even the thing that I wanted to get into, but side note, the risk score itself was so like it felt like a like saying the quiet part out loud kind of vibe, because I really think like they were so blatant about the things that go into the risk score. Like they even said like, oh, if you like have like if someone in your family has committed a crime, your risk goes up, and like where you are from impacts your risk score. And it was like, oh, this is so messed up. Like it was so, and just like it was all just like laid out there. Like that is objectively racist and classist, and also like not it. Anyways, the risk score itself like was wild to read, just like on paper, like here's the thing that goes into this score, because it felt like this is a real thing that already happens. There's just not a formal number that exists for it. Anyways, the risk score pissed me off. But so our main character gets like detained because she has a risk score that is above like a certain number that is deemed dangerous, whatever. And then they have this like I think it's supposed to be a 2-week holding period for like observation, I think.
21
right?
days.
21 days.
Oh yeah,
okay.
21.
Yeah, 21 days.
21 days.
So 3 weeks. Which like she ends up there for longer, obviously. But the like she gets the thing that like tips over her score is the dreams, right? Like she has, and which also I thought it was very interesting that we didn't know, like I felt like we didn't really have a solid grasp on her dreams until kind of the end of the book, like the dream that got her detained, which I liked. I don't know if maybe I just read it differently, but I felt like when she got detained, they were like, oh, we like your dream is like relevant here, and your husband is in danger. And I felt like that was all the information that we got, but then we got like more information towards the end. Yeah. But anyways, reading about the dream stuff was wild, because I think that was the part that felt the most like this is not real, this is dystopian, this is fiction, but then also felt very realistic and really scared me.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, oh, go ahead.
Something that I didn't like, let's say, is that the reason why she has her dream scanned is because she got the dream technology to sleep better, to take care of her family and her husband. I mean, it's exactly that. Also, the oh yeah, we're going. The concept is also, it's always the, we are doing something for you, but then that thing that we're doing for you comes back at you. So we are making everything safer because we are detaining people before they do crime, but that you're the one going into. So I found this concept coming back in the books so many times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I'm reading Kinessa's chat message, and it kind of plays off what you said about how she has the dream device installed so she can sleep, because she's suffering a lot of sleep deprivation, which is really dangerous. Postpartum, I feel like just barely is starting to get recognized as like a very dangerous time for mothers, or people who give birth, and yeah, so Kanessa says this concept is also so interesting because it's eerie to imagine a world where we don't even truly own the thoughts in our heads, which is interesting because I feel like just the big like data as an industry is very like, I don't know how far off it is actually from that, but when you have something that is technology that is capable of that, then I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah. I think it reminded me a lot of like the way that social media exists today, where it's painted as like a service for us and it makes the world better because it connects us all. And like, you know, like look at us on a social media esque
Oh my God.
like adjacent site right now. And like, you know, like social media is this great thing because there's so much that we can learn from one another. But like, I don't trust, and like maybe this is like extreme, but I don't think it is. I don't think we should trust what's going on in the background. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
And it felt like that's what this reminded me of is like there's so much stuff in the world that is painted as like a service, like the Dream Saver device. It's painted as like a positive thing, like you said. And then like in reality, it's being used to monitor people, control people. And then like, okay, someone pointed this out in chat. Diana, I think. Hello. You pointed out that the Dream Tech was used, like they started doing advertisements. Also, the advertisements were being tested on the people that were in these like detention facilities, which is
Mhm.
nuts.
Yes.
That was horrifying. But they were literally
Without any like disclaimer,
Any
like
knowledge.
no
Yeah.
consent. Yeah.
Yeah, which also that's realistic too. But like the
Mhm.
fact that like not only this idea of like you don't own the thoughts in your mind, you don't own your dreams, but also you're there like you're not even in control of them. Like that was
Yeah.
so wild to me. And I think yeah, like that part really, because like also like how can you even trust this? How can you even trust that someone is saying like, oh, you had a dangerous violent dream? How can you trust that that's even your thought? Oh, it freaked me out so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even
Doing
think
that, like,
about it like
through
that.
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird. No.
Yeah. Ugh.
That just like I don't know how much it
I
relates to the book, but that makes me think about how when we use social media, it kind of feels like a stand-in for community in person because you know a lot of people are far away from each other, and so it's an easier way to connect with others. Um, but yeah, but it's not because like stuff that is being used for a profit by some tech company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
did you think while reading the book if you were in the same situation, like if you were in the same society, would you be at risk or not? Because from
Oh,
my point of view, only from a
oh,
point of view, I would have been inside. And it's not that I'm a violent person because I'm not. But my dreams are something that sometimes are incredibly crazy that I know that I don't control. I have dreams that I wake up and I'm like, how the hell my brain developed this thing? But
Yeah.
I'm 79% sure that I will be in the detention center. And
yeah,
this thing is what scared me the most.
Yeah. I think like
yeah.
I have 100% had violent and scary dreams. 100%. Like I don't like I don't know who hasn't.
Yeah.
Real.
I think I would just be in the retention center for
Oh right, retention.
being a anti-establishment little
Mhm.
I couldn't even think. They'd be like, jail. Jail girl.
Yeah. It
Not
made me think a lot.
jail.
Yeah,
Not jail. Not jail girl.
It's just
it made me
gonna
think a
look
lot
a
about
lot
how
like
like
jail.
like and I think that that's the thing is like I think a lot of the like I think it's one of those things though where a big part of like who is in the retention center versus not, like one, dreams are a factor, sure, but like it's also it massively has to do with other privilege that people do or do not have. Like there are plenty of people in the retention center that like had previously committed a crime, and I think even Sara, right? Sara had an incidence of violence as a teenager, maybe. Is that right?
She
Or am
did.
Oh
I
yeah.
She
What?
pushed a concert guard.
right?
Um
Oh yeah.
which sidebar, but I live in California, So like all of the places they were talking about, like that like extra hit for me because I live here. Like I've been to Upland. They mentioned I gotta go drive to Upland, and I was like, I've gotten coffee in Upland, and stuff like that. So it was like really drawing. Or like I've seen like like she was at the Kia Forum, for
Oh yeah.
her concert, and I'm like, I've seen the guards at the Forum like give people shit, and I was just like, that's so like that was like an extra kind of what's the word, like realization for me. Like it made it feel very like extra realistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I've seen these things literally happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird to think. Yeah. Like, but yeah, I felt like the concert was like real, but like, so Sara had the violence at the concert. There are other people in the facility who had previously committed crimes, or like, I think even they mentioned Sara being related to someone who has committed some crime
her
or
cousin.
something.
Her cousin.
And so I think that like, it's interesting because my reading of that is that like dream information only matters if there's something else going on, which I think is super realistic to right now, where like people who are white in America who live in wealthy neighborhoods commit crimes that people who are not white, who are not in wealthy neighborhoods, don't get away with, but those people do. Do you know what I mean? And I think that like, I feel like it had me thinking a lot about how, just like in real life, your privilege impacts what you are allowed to get away with and not. And so like the dreams, I really think that her dreams only mattered because of all of this other stuff going on with her. And also she even says that she thinks she would have been let go if she hadn't like spoken back to the person at the airport, which is also like, it's all these little things where like, it's not just like in real life. It is not actually about hi. It's not actually about the like crime that you did or didn't commit. It's about privilege and also like people in power abusing their power. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I kept thinking about that a lot, that like, it's really not about, like, it's about the dreams, but it's not about the dreams.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like how our justice system like uses things that aren't directly related to a crime in order to convince, like in a jury case, in order to convince a jury, or even just a judge, I guess, to, punish somebody, to persecute someone.
Yeah. Yeah, and like this idea of like, yeah, like the way that she's punished because she doesn't just do what the officer is asking of her, even though it doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah. For sure.
Sorry, this conversation and then seeing welcome to the cozy clouds in chat.
Sorry. Welcome to the cozy clouds. Buckle up.
Thanks to follow everyone.
But yeah,
I was gonna say, Shania, you do look very cozy today.
I'm cold. It's freaking cold in here.
It's cold here too. Are we all like in this big? Well, I guess Ellie's not in the U.S., but the U.S. has a giant winter storm right now.
That's rough out here.
So we're all just like
Canada. That's like the coldest place on Earth right now.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's 5 degrees where I am right now. When I woke up, it was like -10.
It's like 60 and sunny here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's like
sorry.
-18 Fahrenheit.
Californians.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, -21 is wild. Okay, I'm gonna shut up about my 5 degrees.
Yeah, I can't complain about mine. Mine's cold, but it's not that cold. Yeah, I do think it's interesting too, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of curious what y'all's thoughts are on this idea, because they like very much like uphold the algorithm, and they're like the algorithm isn't biased, blah blah blah, but technology
It's
is
an
very much
algorithm. How could it
biased.
be biased? Yeah.
Yes. So I'm kind of curious
Mhm.
what y'all think about that. What your thoughts are on that? Because like whenever I think about that, I'm like, well, it very much is biased because like we know that facial scanning software or voice recognition software
Mhm.
can be very racist. Like it's not like the people who make the software and train it don't train it on all types of people, and so therefore it like creates a bias, and so it doesn't recognize people correctly.
Yeah, I actually wrote a paper about that in college, specifically like on facial recognition software, and
Mm,
it was on facial recognition software and generative AI and inherent biases in it. Um, Thank you. This is Fish. Sorry, I was hoping to say she's beautiful, but it's like wildly disproportionate. How recognition software is more likely, like it has a harder time with darker skin tones, which is fix it then. If it has a problem, fix it. But it's more likely to get those wrong because like the shadows can't tell the details. And again, just fix it. I don't know. But so it's more likely to get that incorrect, and like if people are using only the recognition software, they will more likely detain like the wrong people. Um like in police investigations and stuff. And then with generative AI, if you say like do like generate somebody who works in finance, it'll be a white cis man, or if you say generate a criminal, it'll be a black man. And it is so like 9 times out of 10, it will generate something racist and biased. And like I my paper was a lot better worded than I am right now. I'm a writer, not a speaker, but um yeah, the biases are wild.
yeah. Well, Claire in the chat says don't release something if it doesn't work for everyone. It's so easy, but then they wouldn't make money. Guys, capitalism.
But Claire,
Which also like
big
that's another I think
big
huge
dollar.
exploration in this book is right
Yes.
is that
Yeah.
like the like Dream Saver device, that like Dream Saver Inc. or whatever, they're profiting off of people putting people like they run the retention centers. They're literally profiting off of people being like detained, okay, for crimes that don't exist. And I think it's the same. Like, there's so many decisions that are made in this world and in the real world that completely neglect what is best for people for the sake of making money. And I think there's a lot more at play too. Like, I think it's also power, but a lot of it also is money. And I mean, I guess those go hand in hand. Safe
Yeah.
X, yes. More like Scam X, yeah. And like they know it
Yeah.
too. Like they're yeah. Oh yeah.
Can we talk about
Definitely.
like why like the
Yeah,
government
sorry.
did what they did? Like what happened? Because it's like sure, like their idea of the whole algorithm, you know, getting people before they do a crime. Because like there was a Super Bowl and there was a mass shooting, and they've noticed the shooter purchased a gun off of his personal credit card. So like if they could find that before they actually did that and arrest them, then it would stop more crime. And it was proven that they did stop more crime. Which, you know, it theoretically is like, oh, that can be a good idea till stuff like this happens. And they start arresting people for no reason. And then the dream thing is like, you're putting people in detention centers for dreams. Wild. Or doing things that they haven't done, or, you know, you prove that you're going to do this, but how do you know?
Yeah. Which I think like this is a I feel like that's maybe the hardest which okay, I think this book is like there's a lot of things that are obviously good and bad. There's a lot of I think there's a lot of very clear like this is bad in this book. But I think that's one of those things that is really, really hard to pick apart. And what I like about this book, and also books in general, and this is why I love talking about books, is that it forces you to think about that and consider that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's the point where I don't know what the answer is.
Right. Like it doesn't dissect it for you or give you its own answer. It's like
Yeah.
presents the environment as like a, or like it as a part of the environment that created the conflict of the book, but it doesn't like say, it's not trying to explain everything to you. Yeah, that is a good
Yeah.
point. I like that.
'Cause, yeah,
I
like I would love to not have to experience violence. Like it would be great to be able to stop
Yeah.
unnecessary violence in the world, but how do you do that? How can you punish someone based on intent when like what, or like our thoughts? Like what are our thoughts worth? And is it fair to say that our thoughts, our dreams are indicative of intent? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think something that came to mind for me, as Shania was bringing that up, is because I wasn't thinking about in the moment that was the incident, like an incident of gun violence. I felt that was very reflective of gun culture in the United States and like the institution of firearms just being a right for people, which I know is like a whole debate in and of itself. But I mean, everybody with access to the news in the world knows that the United States has a really, really, really horrible problem with gun violence, and our federal government, the people who are quote unquote representing us at the moment, don't do anything about it. And I think it reminds me of the debate of like whenever these mass shooters, which oftentimes are young men, are, investigated online after the horrific things that they do. A lot of people are like, well, how could we have prevented this? Like, how could we have treated this young man better? What kind of society can we create where this young man wouldn't do this? And it is like a really frustrating thing, especially for family of victims, friends and family of victims of gun violence, where frankly, like, it's just how can we restrict access to the guns, because the guns are, you know, a common thread through it all. Certainly, controlling violence is more complicated than just saying like, well, we got to be nicer to people, but like, yeah, just trying to echo what Bella is saying about like there will always be, I think that's always going to be something that humanity has to navigate, but I think that instance in particular is very reflective of like America's response, or the United States' response to gun violence. We would rather detain people than do anything about guns.
Yeah,
like Claire said in chat,
just might be a problem.
instead of gun control, let's start policing dreams. Yeah, that was the vibe. Yeah, which like this is a big thing to dissect, and it's a big like problem to take on in a book. And like I really liked the way that this was explored in this book, but like yeah, like I think this is like the forever a problem in society, is like how do you handle violence, preempt violence. But yeah, like clearly,
Yeah.
I don't know, arresting people on dreams is wild, obviously.
Yeah, for example, to answer to Diana, oh wait, that I have to do. Sorry. No, okay. To answer to Diana, I have in Italy. I know that there's a difference between how Italy and American works. Here you have, here you are innocent until it's proved that you committed a crime, and that's exactly like the contrary of what the book is saying, because the book is not saying, yes, you're not in prison, you're not detained, but still you're there because there is the possibility of you committing a crime. And so I mean, I see it close, because this book for me was incredibly and scary, contemporary in my opinion. But I I do struggle to see how something like this could take place in Italy. So from that point of view, we also don't in Italy. We also have the thing of, okay, we have the problem, and we are never able to think in advance, and it's always something that we have to fix later, and we fix it in a way that it's not a good way. But that's that.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like this is a very, like, the book is a very, like, American approach to this. It felt
Yeah.
that way. At least as an American, the book takes place in America. It felt like the gun violence in, like, I guess, like, inciting incident that kind of explains the world setup. It felt all very
Yeah.
American. But I think that the general problem of, like, reducing violence is not a problem that's unique to America, of course. But, like, this approach of, like, over policing people in a really biased way instead of looking at other options, that feels super American.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that also reminds me of this message that Diana sent a few minutes ago about wondering if the inciting incident at the Super Bowl was supposed to be a parallel to 9/11. I feel like that feels a little bit relevant as well, considering like Lalami's background and the main character's background as well, being from Morocco, but being a brown person. Um, I think that's just interesting too. I wanted to read that chat message.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, because I think, like, in US, like, politics and policy, 9/11 led to an immediate increase in, like, over policing and over, like, additional surveillance of American citizens. Like,
Yeah. And it's also like it is making me think about the same thoughts that you were talking about after what Shania said, of like, I think it's probably good that we, check what people are bringing onto the plane in their pockets. Like, I think that's not a horrible thing. Like, I don't, but also that is weaponized in a way that doesn't align with how I
Right.
want people to be able to go about traveling.
Can I tell a
Yeah.
story?
yes.
Not to
Yeah.
bring this about Formula One, and I'm so sorry. um, so there's this driver. His name is Yuki. He's from Japan, and every time there's a race in the States, he gets pulled to the side from security every single time, and he gets put into a separate room and gets questioned every single time just because he's Asian. And it's very like even someone with like that's huge in the media and like has so much money
Yeah.
still gets pulled to the side, and it's come to the point where like they have to fly him separately in a private jet or like
Mm,
do all of this stuff. Like it's even someone with a lot of money still gets put to the side, and it's so annoying.
Which I
yeah.
think,
And like
like,
I have the privilege.
TSA, sorry.
Yeah, he gets. I even like I have the privilege of like, okay, I think I'm gonna be fine going through because I'm a white young girl. So I get terrified when like my friends are getting through or making sure they get safe, or even like people like that. Like it's terrifying.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
I think TSA is, like,
also a
a
story.
perfect, like, comparison to not a perfect comparison, but I think is a reasonable comparison to sort of the way that the, like, risk assessment agency works in general,
Mm-hmm.
where, like, yeah, the idea, like you said, the idea of, like, making sure that people aren't carrying weapons in their pockets onto a fully boarded plane, that seems reasonable. But the power that TSA agents have when they're performing their, like, assigned duty is not applied evenly. It is applied based on
Yeah.
bias and privilege. Like, yeah, as a white person, I never get patted down at the airport, and I know why. It's because I'm white. It's not because of any other reason. It's not because I am better or less of a, I don't know, whatever. Like, it's purely because of the privilege that I hold as a white person. And, like, I think that is the, like, that's the exact real life example of, I think, what's happening in this world. And, like, the thing that I said earlier about, like, people are only going to get in trouble for their dreams if XYZ, it's the same with, like, TSA. Like, they're only applying, like, technically TSA agents can like pat people down and do whatever. I guess I don't know everything that they can do. I know they can pat people down. Technically they can do that, but who is that applied to? And like, how do they make that determination? Because I think it's very clearly and explicitly based on bias.
Yeah. There was a time I flew, and I don't know how. Can I curse? Are we, is that chill?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I don't know how the fuck this happened, but somebody fully got a gun on the plane.
Oh my
So
God.
I was fearing for my fucking life because I was like, this dude has a gun. Of course it was a white man. And that's the whole point. That is why TSA is not there. It was not discreet. It was like a hunting rifle. Like, that is not discreet. This is the whole reason TSA is there, but it was a white man, so he got through. But you know,
That's
an
wild.
Asian man that is well known, Formula One racer gets patted down every time, but this white man with a literal hunting rifle got through and was like trying to put it in the overhead bin.
That's crazy.
And some poor flight attendant had to be like, you can't have that here. And like,
That's
it was because he got mad
wild.
that they wanted him to put it like
Check it,
like in
yeah.
the under storage, and it was
That's
so
crazy.
scary. It's so scary. And it's like, that's the whole point of why TSA is there.
Right. But like, we're not allowed to bring anything over an ounce of
Yep.
liquid because of
Yeah, exactly.
something.
My toothpaste. My
So
toothpaste
dangerous.
when I was flying to Japan. I had to buy Japanese toothpaste because they threw away my toothpaste too.
Oh my god, I got
my God.
sunscreen in like here in Canada. I can't get sunscreen higher than like 60 FPS, SPF, not FPS, SPF. And so when I went to Puerto
Gamer.
Rico, yeah, when I
gamer
went to
is
Puerto
actually-
Rico, there was like 90. So we accidentally
Ooh.
brought it with us and I was like, buy my sunscreen.
Oh
no.
no. Yeah. Which, like, I feel like, again, the sunscreen is the dreams. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
It sounds
whether or
silly,
not
but
you
I-
get in
I'm on
trouble. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for most of us, it's like, okay, get rid of your sunscreen. That's not good, whatever. But you're not in trouble. But like, some people will get in trouble for their sunscreen because they're seen as like intentionally trying to do something wrong, intentionally trying to break the rules, like doing something like the sunscreen is the dreams. I feel like I can't articulate this perfectly, but the sunscreen is the dreams.
I know
makes sense.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Luke in chat said some people call TSA security theater, and I actually think that's because it looks like they're doing a useful job, but they're totally ineffective. I think that is a really, really good point because I'm not going to articulate this the best, but there is a journalist. She's like kind of divisive for some reason that I don't fully understand, so do your own research on her, I guess, but generally her takes are very like substantial for me, so I don't mind. But her name is Taylor Lorenz, and she did some coverage after what happened to Emiru at TwitchCon this past year. And she talked a lot about how security theater makes a big show of things, but is actually not always the most effective way to address a problem.
Yeah.
So I just think that's interesting and recommend listening to that if anybody's interested.
And I think it's like I think that's 100% that's 100% articulates what we're seeing in this book, is that there's a lot of like security theater. And I think the added element that is really explored in this book, which I think exists in real life, but I think is well explored in the book, is the profit associated with security theater, with this idea of like because like
Right.
there's so many people that are making money in this book. Like, oh my God, sorry, I just remembered the whole they have to pay to communicate with people outside of the facility. Do you remember? I don't remember what the company name is, but there's like a whole entire company that provides this
Pen
like
pal.
yes.
Or something
yes.
like that. Oh, PostPal.
Something like
Yes.
that. Postpal,
Yeah.
yes.
Postpal.
Yeah.
And like Postpal basically is the only way for them to communicate with people outside of the facility, and they have to pay for it. And also it's like super bad. Like there was a whole one of those like in between chapters things where Sara like there's some issue with post-bal. Anyways,
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
think
I was
that's
so
like
annoyed
Yeah,
at it.
that is.
and then she was like
Frustrated.
like doing emails back and forth maybe about, I don't really remember the issue, but I think like that is one of those things where like it's supposed to be like, oh, you know, you're in this restricted facility, you don't have access to whatever, and that's all for safety. But here's this private company that's going to profit off of the fact that you're in this restricted facility where you can't talk to people. Like, and I think, again, that's one example, but I think there's a ton in this book where it's sort of like, we've created this situation that is designed to make the country safer, but in reality, all it's doing is harming people who have less privilege, and then making people able to profit off of that, which is
Right.
so realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just me agreeing.
Yeah. And if I'm not wrong, it's in because Bella keeps saying privileges, and I remember that one sentence that stuck in my brain was when they talk about communication. Probably they don't have access to postpal anymore, and the guard that it's in the space and it's managing postpal answer to Sara that communication it's a privilege and privilege can be removed. And I was like, excuse me.
That is so
And I'm not,
poignant.
and you
Yeah.
keep saying that I'm not in prison. That in
Yeah.
that moment,
But that is so
and that was
poignant because
something that.
it's sorry, finish your thought. I was too excited.
No. I finished.
Okay.
Go.
I'm like, no, that's so poignant because it's like, it's very reflective of how that society is built. And like, we're talking about the privilege that we have, you know, as people discussing this concept compared to other people who might like be affected differently by it. But it's true that like people in power can remove your privilege because they have power to do so. Yeah. I just thought that was interesting too.
I think another like not exactly privilege, but I think I think the discussion of like the privileges that the not prisoners have in this book is also a good lens to look at like the rights that that people are seen as having or not having. Like
Yeah.
like I would say like communication is maybe a human right. I don't know how to determine that, but it feels like it is. And so that's a right that is taken away and becomes like I feel like I don't know if I'm articulating this, but it feels like there are things that are rights that are then converted into privileges when you're in this type of when for people that are like detained. They're detained. And I think another one is sort of like they lose the right to like not be experimented on. They lose the right to consent over like what is in their brains. We talked about this a little bit already, but the like Dream Saver testing ads in their dreams, which again is nuts. But like that, like I think it is like a human right to not be experimented on without consent. I don't know how to define that, but like that feels like a
And they
right.
also didn't have like clean clothes and
Right,
like
clothes,
menstrual products
yes.
and like
Yeah.
Right.
a
But
whole
there are so
changing
many like
facilities.
that's all taken like all I would consider those pieces of access like I think should be rights, and they're all taken from them. And yet like constantly told that they're not in prison, which also I think it's wrong. Like I think also, just to clarify, I don't think it's okay for people's human rights and access to be taken away even if they are in prison.
Of
I think this
course.
is a problem in any like this is not just a problem of like this false detention situation. I think it's wild to take away human rights just because of someone having committed a crime. But anyways,
Right.
Yes.
oh my god, yeah, wait, what Chloe said in chat, that I kind of forgot about this. Also, hi Chloe. I forgot about this detail, but they were only allowed access to like tampons if they agreed to have their cycle tracked, which like
Oh,
that was a
no.
super freaky little detail too, because I think it's all like they're experimented on, their dreams are obviously tracked, like there's so much data that is being collected on these people and beyond just these people. I think in this kind of world that we're in this book, there's just so much data that is being collected and probably sold in this world, and that's really realistic.
Yeah. Pearl Blossoms, or Pear Blossom, sorry, said we never really saw who was benefiting from that. We get a glimpse of a bit of dream tech. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Dream,
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I think.
Yes.
One of the companies involved in the retention facility. We get a glimpse of that so there is a character, for context, who enters the facility. Is it what is the name of, is it Madison, the name of the facility?
Yeah. Madison.
Yeah.
Okay.
The facility,
So
yes.
there's a character named Isley who comes, and it's notorious that everybody who shows up thinks they're going to only be there for the 21-day monitoring period, and then they get hit with like a ton of extensions to varying lengths, but there are a lot of people who have been there for multiple months or even over years. But Isley comes and she serves her time and leaves at 21 days, and everybody's like, what the heck? And then later on, we are not told directly whenever we get this vignette of the same character's experience, but we realize as we're reading that vignette of her experience, her name is her name Julie?
Julie.
Yeah.
Okay. She is actually somebody who's trying to develop and we've spoken about this a little bit, who's trying to develop a software that implements ads into the same like device that Sara got to help her sleep, so they would be advertising to you in your sleep, and presumably
And you wouldn't
being
even
like, well, you
know.
can pay an extra fee to not get ads in your dreams, I assume.
Oh,
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so she is like somebody that comes in, so we see like a little bit of that, but we don't certainly don't see everybody.
I remember in her, because there was like a point where she's kind of like reviewing and presenting her findings from her study, where she mentions there being like, she uses whether someone is like on their period as a data point in the study.
Oh, wow, yeah, that does line up with the
Well, I sort of forgot about that, but yeah, like it's like a data point that they use while they're experimenting on them. That would work on me. I love carrots. Like that it's so freaky to think about.
I was wondering the significance of carrots this entire time until I got to that point, and I was like, oh.
Yup.
Her like wild carrot dream that we like got the whole dream, and I was like, what is going on here?
Really?
What? And then the explanation.
The realization. Yeah.
Oh my god. When she asked her husband if she could get flowers, or he could get her flowers for like she wanted roses or something, and he comes home with these freaking sunflowers, I was pissed.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, of course you come home with freaking sunflowers.
Yeah. It was really interesting seeing her as a character. I feel like Julie is a character that I maybe still have complex feelings about.
So much.
Because like
so much.
I almost feel like and maybe this is not, I don't know, I guess, okay, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to read a book. I felt like at times we were supposed to relate to Julie because like we are, as the reader, we are like the regular person doing our job, not in a retention facility. I felt like at times I was supposed to feel like, not necessarily, like, not that I was her, but I felt like I was pushed to sympathize with her, which felt so icky. And I think that was intentional. Like, it felt like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain this better. It felt like she was humanized. We were meant to sort of see her as like a full human. And that was very uncomfortable in the book. I don't know how to explain that better.
Something that I felt with Julie is that it wasn't a character of which we know a lot. I mean, we don't know a lot about her job, if not that they are using the people at only some of the people of Madison, because not all of the people of Madison are in the experiment for the Dream Tech advertisement. So from that, I know that I keep thinking about this. I'm like, okay, but why? I mean, why there is this thing in a book? I understand that it's because society it's deciding on your body, but I'm missing something. And at the same time, I feel like it's okay for not understanding, but because we'll never know what the government and what this private society have in plan. So from a reader point of view, it's understandable of not knowing everything, like not understanding the point of it.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit this is a little bit off topic, but I focus a lot on the type of writing, and I loved a certain point. If you read the book, you know that a certain point you find in the books it's not Sarah anymore, it's Julie, and you're like,
Yeah.
who the hell is this?
Yep.
Because
Right.
you
Yeah.
don't know, and you don't have the confirmation that it's her until she signs the mails that she's writing to Sarah with the name Julie. And Sarah is
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Why Julie? Why this name? And I think that that was such a cherry on top, because the way in which of the revelation for me was amazing. So
Yeah. Big agree. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of off topic, but kind of on topic. When I was in college for programming, we were told like when you get in industry, you might do jobs that like won't align with your values. So you have to
Right.
sit there and really think like maybe you don't like the way this is, but do you like the paycheck?
Mm-hmm.
Because you could get paid a lot, but at the same time you could also be doing face recognition in the military.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we really had to like sit there and think about it, and they made us think about it.
I think that. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I think that is like actually. It feels icky in the context of the story to relate to Julie, but it is actually a very relatable scenario for a lot of people, especially people who are maybe like I don't even know how to like define classes anymore, but people who are in a higher echelon of corporate culture or something like that. Like that is still very relatable because I think certainly there are a lot of people who I don't think are horrible people, but work jobs that down the line do harm people
Mhm.
Yeah.
because
I
they're
think
forced
like,
to.
and I think that's kind of the like crux of it is that like we are all complicit in harm. And I think as humans, we want to see ourselves as like the hero and like I stand up for what's right. I do my part. I look out for people. Like I'm a good person and I do all good things. But the reality is we live in an unfair and unjust society. And like I think it's impossible to participate in the world that we live in without doing some harm.
Yeah.
And I think that like that character felt like a mirror to that of like, hey, you're doing harm. And I think that's really, really hard to take. Or you have done harm, not necessarily. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't want to like. I'm not calling us all bad, but do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's really hard to admit to yourself like I have done harm, but I also think it's impossible to go through our whole entire lives without that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Not being omniscient and knowing everything
Yeah.
for sure.
Whew. This is a big
I
book,
know.
y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was
I
like,
know.
while I was reading it, I was wondering if it was like, is this a little bit too long or am I just uncomfortable sitting with this
Yeah.
material? I had to ask myself that a lot too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
liked that we had like I felt like the carrot dream was so nice because I was like this is an objectively hilarious moment in such a horrifically heavy book.
Yup.
Um
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
liked that we had like little pieces like that, but I also liked just how uncomfortable this book was. I think that was intentional
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was well done. I
Yeah.
I
know
agree.
somebody in chat, maybe Kanessa, hey, brought up the ending of the book, which I would
Yes.
super love to talk about the ending of the book. And
I was
like our
confused.
thoughts on the ending and our thoughts on Sara after like getting through the end of it. 'Cause yeah, like the ending. So okay, we end the book with Sara getting out of the retention facility. Which also, okay, side note, towards the end of the book, there's a moment where I can't recall if they actually do this, but they talk about making zines, which I thought was so cool. Go zines. Love a
Yeah.
zine. Also zines are like a really, in real life, they're a popular way of like spreading information and education in like prison, for instance, because it's a lot harder to circulate books than it is to circulate zines. So go zines. Anyways, but yeah, the ending, Sara gets out of the facility because she is sort of like inciting a strike, which starts to be very effective. And my interpretation, which like I would love to talk about this because I think we got a lot of stuff answered, but I think also there's stuff that is maybe unclear. My interpretation is she, for quite a while, she's like past all of the reasons why they've held her for longer. I mean, the whole entire facility, like they hold people over nothing. Like there's no actual reason to hold her for any amount of time. But anyways, she's out of this any of her like extensions, so she's just sort of like waiting to be released essentially. And then she sort of like organizes this strike which becomes effective, and then the people at the facility release her. I think because like to get her out of the way to make the strike end, and she goes, right?
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
impression as well.
Okay.
Same.
It felt very
I think-
anticlimactic. Like I was getting close to the end, I was like, is this gonna be it? Like it's just, I don't know, it almost kind of like fell. Like I was waiting for something maybe more. I don't know. But I mean, if it gets you out of
Yeah.
it,
I was waiting for the entire system to collapse.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the moment in
Same.
which the entire system will have collapsed. Instead, no. And you have her walking away, and as she does, you stay there and you're thinking about all her friends. Are they still at Madison? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
think
okay, and
that
now
I think that's why I loved the ending, because I sort of liked that we did not get. So like, okay, here's my hot take. I loved the ending. I thought it was super appropriate. It's horrible and really disappointing, and I think that is exactly what we deserve, I guess.
agree.
Because I think
se-
in real life, when we are shown injustice and how to rise up against injustice, rarely do we see the level of collective action that is required to topple an entire system. And I
Yeah,
think that is
absolutely.
what is happening in this book, is that like she would have had to like intentionally stay somewhere away from her family, away from her baby children. She would have to give up so much to commit to this level of like collective action needed to topple a system, and we don't even know if that's possible. It's such a big ask, it's such a big sacrifice, and I think it mirrors the things that happen in real life, where there's a lot, like I think there's a lot of people who are willing to give up a lot in order to organize and participate in collective action against injustice. But I think a lot of people have limits, and I think those limits fall short of what is needed to topple an entire system, obviously. And like I thought the ending was so disappointing because that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Like the ending is kind of, yeah, like anticlimactic and a little disappointing, but like I thought it made so much sense for a lot of the reasons, Bella, you just said. But also like I think they saw like they were just keeping her there because they could use her. And she stopped being convenient for the regime as a whole. And then they were like, okay, this isn't working. It's actually working against us. She's been good to go. We've just been keeping her because it's beneficial to us. And like she wasn't doing what they wanted, and it was easier to let her go than try and gain control again. Like I think if she had started doing her job again, when Hinton was like, hey, I'll give you your journal. If you do your job, I'll give you my journal. I think she would still be there. Um
Yeah.
And it was just like, they were like, it's not worth the hassle to try and keep her here. Let her go.
Yeah.
I think it also felt like I couldn't stop myself from thinking like, what would I do in that moment? And I don't think I like the answer. You know what I mean? Like, that's the hardest choice. I don't know how to make a different one.
Yeah. I think something significant too about her leaving was that they said you can leave as long as you agree to not disparage um SafeX or like any of our associates or whatever, basically. To not, it was like an NDA essentially.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think that was really the crux of that choice for me, and that's why I also wrote down the question of like, what do you guys think about the ending? So I don't know. I looked at a review before I finished the book. I didn't read the whole thing, but it was just like a one sentence thing on Storygraph about the ending fell a bit flat. So the whole time I was like going to the end, and I thought it was going to be really disappointing. But I'm like very much in consensus with Bella's perspective on it. Of like, yeah, that is reflective of reality. But also, I think what happens after that, as well, is that she reaches out to Toya. And what I think is meaningful there is that her father, who has a very low risk score, offers to let her use his phone in order to contact Toya so that it doesn't raise her score in turn. And so I think that is like a little sort of seed of perhaps like this, if one piece of this movement fails, it doesn't mean the movement is over. You know what I mean? Like, I do think discussing her decision to leave is interesting, right? But her staying in contact with Toya and like the showing of care and like how we can protect each other um, in this world is really interesting. I don't know. Interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. No, I big agree, because I think also like I sort of forgot about that briefly, and I think the ending of her retention is disappointing in some ways, because like the facility is still operational and everything is,
Yeah.
nothing really has changed. But the ending of the book, I think, is not hopeless. And I think also like her being able, like, she is now like, her father was like super not, like, didn't really buy, like his opinion changed because of her experience. And then, like you said, now he's like, he lends her his like whatever communication because of his low risk score. Like, people, her community, at least her very close community, changes because of her experience. And I think that's the hope, is that there's still community change and community action that continues on after this. Yeah, like, I don't think it's
Yeah.
hopeless.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Sam that is sent a really nice message as well. A character story in a dystopian setting is often more satisfying than a story about fixing a dystopia, possibly because an easy fix to this dystopia feels unearned, and the realistic fix is slow and complex and leaves a lot of heavy lifting to the world building over the characters.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's
Totally agree.
better put than what I was gonna say.
They have the privilege of typing and editing in the little chat
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think obviously her leaving before like everything is dismantled is a little unsatisfying, but I feel like it would almost be more unsatisfying if everything just fell apart immediately. Like, obviously we want her to win. We want to see the success for everyone in the retention facility, but like, that's not how it would actually work, especially like it would have to be a longer standing movement. Um so I think like it would have felt almost unearned, like Sam was saying. Like, I
Mhm.
one strike probably wouldn't upend the entire facility. It would obviously be a step in the right direction for them. Um but it is the collective movements that are what's most powerful, which is again a lot of what we're seeing right now in the real world, especially in the United States. And so that's something like felt very, very like relevant right now with all of like the protests about what's going on in Venezuela, with all of the stuff with ICE, like it very poignant, very on the nose of what is currently happening. And I think outside voices of people not just in those facilities will have a larger impact on that than them acting on their own. And we get a little bit of that at the end with her reaching back out to Toya. So,
well, it's true. That's like a lot of. I was reading. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring up bell hooks again, but I was reading. I think I was reading "Feminism is for Everybody," like last month or something, and one of the things that she repeats a lot throughout a lot of her work is saying that until our like white counterparts stand with us, like until we are able to build allyship with for example in Feminism is for Everybody, like until we're able to build allyship with anti-sexist men, white anti-sexist men, like the movement will not move forward. Like you do have to connect, and those people exist. So yeah, I think what you're to your point of saying like people outside of the facility having more impact, like we as people outside of private prisons have to ally with people who are currently being detained.
yeah, it's like being a voice for the voiceless, kind of. And like, so I'm a journalist. Like a lot of my job, like especially less so now, honestly, but when I was in college, and working for my student paper, I was able to like spotlight a lot of things going on campus, and get like attention to things that might not have gotten as much attention without that, and that is something really empowering to like use my position for. Um, and it's like stuff like that that I think is really really powerful. It's like being a voice and letting stories be heard that might not be heard otherwise. So I think the ending kind of echoed that a little bit. And so it's hopeful, will not being the end of this. Like there is still stuff that would have to happen off the page. But you can see it's going in the right direction, and like the butterfly effect or whatever.
It makes me wonder if this like experience would change, because I finished this a couple weeks ago. I started it towards the beginning of January, and I was like, oh, I'll just read it really really slow, so I finished it like right before book club. No, I couldn't put it down. I like finished it pretty quickly. Anyways, I don't like, okay, Julie's character, I think I can't remember if Sara like confronts her, but she at least stops speaking to her. Like she is found out. But like I don't think we really see anything beyond that. And it makes me wonder if Julie as a human person, would this change her? Like which I again, I don't recall us getting an answer to that, but it does make me curious. Like would having met the like retainees and being in that facility, would it change her view of her job? Which like I don't know, like I don't know, but it's something that I thought about.
Does anyone here remember if there was any mention of Julie around or after Sara was released?
I don't think she was mentioned.
I
As somebody
don't
who
think
finished
so.
the book 5 minutes before we went live,
I was gonna say somebody finished it very soon.
It was me. I was reading.
We need
I
them.
was doing my makeup for stream while like listening to the audiobook. And like so she got released, and then she had the dream where that was all a dream, and I was just sitting
Oh my
there
God.
holding my brush, and I was just like,
that freaked me out.
I was so scared.
I was so stressed.
I know. Oh
my
my God.
That was a nightmare for me too. For us too, probably. That was absolutely a nightmare.
Yeah.
Also because
spending so much
there's
time.
there's not a different format of writing between the text itself and the dreams. So you always have to understand what is real, what is not. So when I read about her being released and then randomly she was packeted, chat, I was reading it on stream. A chat clipped the moment in which I reacted to that.
That's so funny.
Oh, I
It
love
was
that, yeah.
wild.
Because didn't she have a dream about
Wild.
being out earlier in the book and then waking up and still being detained?
She
I feel like
did,
that
I
happened.
think.
Something,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
exactly the same way, but yeah. Oh,
Yeah, there was something similar where she was like, she had a dream that she was at her trial,
yeah,
Oh,
that's
and then the
right.
trial started going
Right.
very wrong, and she was trying to explain things, and they just
Mhm.
weren't listening, which again feels very on the nose right
Realistic.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah,
her
going
lawyer
back,
being like
going back to Julie.
useless. Oh yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
in that
Yeah.
dream.
No, what is? Like going back to Julie, I don't think we see an answer from Sara when Julie writes the mail. If I'm not wrong, because I don't remember reading about an exchange, a proper exchange. So I think that Sara discovers, like, understand who Julie is, and then there is no contact at all. Sara never
Mhm.
replied to Julie, see, or her cousin.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which makes me just
So
like I feel like optimistically I want to believe that this experience would change Julie, but I don't know. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think her feeling unresolved, it's harder to save that. Because there are a lot of things in the book that you're like, this made me feel bad, but it was on purpose. But I think that specifically is like one thing where you're like, I don't know if this was on purpose or if it just like
Yeah.
didn't make it into the edit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we have a lot of time really to talk. Oh no. I remember the first part of my sentence and forgot the second half.
Oh no.
I was like, I don't know if we have a lot of time to talk about what? What? I need a dream saver to remember it.
Okay, but wait.
No,
People
Oh,
in
no.
chat are
get the thing
saying
in your
that
brain.
people in chat are saying that Sara didn't want to spend her credits, but Julie offered to pay to give her credits in her account
Yes.
to talk to her.
Mhm.
So I don't think that was it. I think
I
Sara was like, "I'm done with you."
no,
Yeah.
thank you. Bye. Yeah.
She took the credits.
Oh, sick.
Because she was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm not gonna say no to free money, which like same girl, spend the corporate dime. You
Yeah.
know what was up with her.
Yeah.
Spend the corporate
Yeah,
dime.
yeah. True.
Man.
But yeah, like I wish there was a little bit more of a through line with that, because like I want to know if like Julie realized something, like what compelled her to reach out to Sarah. Like I need answers that I did
That's
not
actually
get.
yeah, that's a good point though, because I think that does tell us something about how Julie's experience affected her. The fact that she tried multiple times to get in contact with
Yeah.
Sara.
But it makes me like, was that out of compassion or was it out of guilt? Did she feel like,
Mm,
did she realize that the retention center circumstances are wrong, or did she feel bad about being like, did she, it feels like one of those things where when when someone is called out for their actions and instead of being like, whoa, I've done harm and I'd like to do better, they're like, oh, well, I'm a good person. Oh, but I'm a good person.
yes,
Do you know
yes,
what I mean?
yes.
Like, I couldn't
Yeah.
tell if her response was feeling caught and defensive or if she genuinely wanted to be better. I don't know.
Yeah, which is that's why I
Certainly,
want to
yeah.
know more from her, especially because like the POV where you get where it's Julie and you're realizing Julie was Isley. She seems very naive still. Like it didn't really like process. She was just like, ugh, glad that's over
Right.
and I'm away from them.
Yeah.
And stuff in it. So like I don't
Yeah.
really know what's up with her. I want more inside. I want to be inside her head more. One POV was not enough. I want to understand it a little bit more, and that's a little unsatisfying that we just got like a little bit from her and then nothing really came of that, and like of it felt like it was just a plot device to get the strike going, like with the emails with her, versus like having anything actually come with that other than Sarah realizing who she was and using that to get the strike going. So
Yeah,
it
it feels
felt like a
optimistic to
plot
think Julie would
device. Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
for
like
sure.
not like a not accurate level of optimism. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of remember what I was gonna say earlier. I don't really have a point, but I'm gonna say it just in case it like pings
Love it.
anything in anyone. But I think I was just like wondering if anybody had any thoughts relating to Sara's father's like overcautiousness and awareness of his place in American society as an immigrant and as a brown person, as opposed to her mother's, and how Sarah, at the end of her detention, begins to embody her mother, versus how, I mean, she kind of describes how frustrating it was, how frustrating her dad was, and how, but I think more so like how the contrast between her dad handling things and her mom handling things could also like be very, cause a lot of friction in their specific experiences, like traveling and stuff. But I'm wondering if y'all had any thoughts that came up while you were reading, especially as she was talking about that kind of thing, because she does really embody her mom, like at the end of her time in detention, because she is like, I'm not gonna fucking, like, she calls attention to herself and she accepts risk because she's acknowledging things on the principle of what it is versus like making a calculation for her safety or freedom.
I think the thing that the sort of like juxtaposition of her parents and the idea of like following the rules versus not, I think that the thing that I was thinking about a lot is that at least the ending of Sara's time in the retention facility, I think articulates that like it doesn't actually matter if you're following the rules or not, because she was following the rules before getting detained. And then and then while in the retention facility, she was following the rules, but she kept getting extensions. Like I don't know. And I think a lot of this, I think my perspective on this is largely as an outsider. But I think
Same.
like the book, it felt like the book articulated to me that like it doesn't actually matter if you're following the rules. If you are seen as a problem in society, following the rules, the idea of like you'll be accepted if you just follow the rules, you'll be, like you'll overcome all of these obstacles if you just follow the rules and do what you're told, that's a myth. And I feel like the juxtaposition of her parents maybe articulated that, but I don't know. That's what I've got. I think it's worth, I think that was like a good thing to explore and think about from this book.
Yeah. Diana's message I want to read out loud, but it says, coming from a patriarchal culture, it makes sense he was doing everything he can to protect his family. That could feel overbearing. And like certainly like Sara experienced it as overbearing as well. And with her mother coming to America, where it's the land of the free, she got to have more freedom as a woman of color in America. So that's why she was a bit more free spirited, but she also got the protection of her husband. I think that's interesting too.
Yeah, I wish Tris was in here. His parents immigrated. I think he's napping right now, but I feel like he would have a really good POV on that. But I think he's asleep because he's a baker, software dev turned baker, and he worked the 3 a.m. shift today. So I think he's in bed. But he would have a really good opinion that I will have to like. I'm gonna make him read it and then ask him that.
Yeah, follow up in the Discord later.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, you have to read this right now, and I need your opinions. Now.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Also, this is a pretty heavy convo because I think of the content of this book. I know we're like getting close to 2 hours. Are there any last questions, things to discuss from the book? Basically anything that we missed. This is for all of us, but also for y'all chat. Hey, anything that we missed that we should talk about before we wind down here?
I don't think so. From my perspective. Oh, Canessa says, "What does everyone rate the book out of 5?"
Ooh, what did I rate
I rated
this
it
book? Oh, I gave this
4.
book 5 stars.
Ooh.
I finished it and I was like 5 stars.
What
I
did
liked the
give it?
complexity.
I think the
I think
only
Shania,
thing I
you
don't
said
like about it is
4.
I don't like jump skips. That's like my
Yeah.
biggest like thing about books is like if you don't be like, okay, 5 years ago, like clearly stated, I was listening to the audiobook and I was very confused a lot.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
wait, when was
Yeah.
this? Who
I
was
could see
this?
how listening to the audiobook would be
and then the
definitely a
bleeping in
different
the audiobook.
experience.
Don't get me started.
Oh my god, the bleeping. Okay, the bleeping was sensory a challenge. That was
Yes,
my
it was so
only
bad.
maybe issue.
Yeah, I understand why they did it
It was
because
very
they were like
loud.
protecting. It was so loud. As also an audiobook listener, it was so loud. And
Yeah.
I understand why they did that, and I like that they had the bleeping in the audiobook. Instead of being like redacted or something. Like I like that they
Yeah.
like used like the audio cue, but like fix your sound
It should have just been
balancing.
quieter.
Yeah.
Just
So
a little
bad.
quieter.
I'm like,
Also
too
the
much for an
audiobook
audiobook, I
narrator. The narrator for Sarah's POVs was very, very good. I thought her performance was a good job. So shout out the
Yeah.
audiobook.
I really
Minus
liked the
Just
audiobook
watch
for
out
this
for
one.
the
minus
beeps, it
redacted.
sounds like.
Again,
Yeah.
minus. Which also the redacted I think only shows up 1, maybe 2 times, and it's in those in between chapters, right? Like there's not a lot. There's like one section. I think there was one chapter that had like a ton of redacted information over and over and over, and that was very jarring. But like when you start to hear them, turn down your volume, speed through the chapter, then you're all good, then you're fine. Like it wasn't like constantly sprinkled in throughout the entire audiobook. There was like one specific chapter where it was like over and over and over again. But yeah.
I think after this discussion, because I looked at my story graph and I gave it a 3.75 immediately after reading, but then after the discussion, I feel I bumped her up 4.25.
Ooh,
Nice. There was a lot in this. I think there's a lot to unpack in this book.
Yeah, and I feel like just sitting and reading it through is a pretty honestly, shout out to the audiobook listeners specifically who listened to it in a very short period of time because like my brain would have melted. I would be like, I can't come, you guys.
I woke up
too
at
sad.
7 in the morning
Oh my
to finish
god.
this book. I was reading it last night on my Kindle for a little bit, fell asleep in the middle of a chapter, woke up at 7 again, was reading it like on my Kindle for a little bit, and then switched to the audiobook. And that was how I spent. That's what I did I've been up since 7 in the morning. This is all I've thought about all day.
Yeah.
You need
Also,
a
I wanna
palate
say that the
cleanser
book
after
is
this.
expensive for me.
I'm
Like,
gonna read
I
a silly little
couldn't-
romance or something.
I
buy
start.
it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
This was,
because
I
you had to
think,
get it from the library.
Yeah, it was so expensive for me. I went to go to the bookstore and it was like
Oh,
$45, and I'm like, I'm not paying that.
jeez.
And then the
Yeah,
Kindle
I think it
edition
was
was like also like 20. I'm like, I'm good. It was free on
This was a
Spotify. If you had Spotify Premium.
2025 release. Oh, nice. Yeah. I think this was a 2025 release, and it's only available in hardcover right now. And like in the US, hardcovers are at least $30. I think this one was 30 or 35 US dollars. Like it was and it was super, super popular. So I couldn't get it at my library. I used Libro FM to get the audiobook. So it cost like 1 credit, like 1 standard Libro credit. But like, yeah, that's a good shout. Maybe for our next book, we can like consider accessibility of the book. I think this was super worth, like, I'm so glad that we picked it, but yeah, that's a really good note.
Did
Yeah.
you see the covers of the book?
No, were there different ones?
Because on Goodreads there are 2 different covers. I don't know the one that you read. I read the one with the one that we put in the. Did you see? There is another
Oh
one.
my god, the other one's so cool.
I can show. It's so cool. I saw
If
it
I see it
today
on
while I was browsing the
Storygraph,
the reviews. Yeah.
What the heck?
I think
I'm
I
curious
think
about where that is
it
from.
makes so much. The the publishing house was Bloomsbury. Chew
Oh,
Bloomsbury, if I'm not wrong.
Which Random House is the U.S. publisher of this. So where is Bloomsbury? I should
Yeah.
know this. Is that UK?
It's UK. I think in chat they're saying probably UK.
Well, what the heck?
So
The one
I saw
with
it.
the bars and clouds. That's the UK
I've
cover. Oh, that one's really good.
I love.
I thought
So
it was so much fitting.
yeah, it's super fitting.
All the book.
Yeah, I like to go into books kind of like not knowing what's up. Like I pick most of my reads cover and vibes. Like it is cover, name, author, vibes for me.
Huge.
I rarely know what's going on. So I didn't know what I was getting into with this book. Cuz I put on like I saw the cover. I was like, "Ooh, I want to read that." Forgot about it for a while, and then when I sent the list of like recommended books for like by Muslim authors, and I saw that one was on there and got put on our vote. I was like, "Oh, yay. I remember that's been on my TBR." Didn't know what I was getting into. Immediately got my shit rocked.
Yeah, real.
But like in a
I
way
feel
that
like
I'm
this
like
cover is
so
like
glad I read it.
ominous, but not. This cover does not tell you what you're gonna read at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good
Yeah.
dystopia cover, you know?
Agree.
Abstract.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, this was
There was
great.
also wait. There was one last thing that someone said in chat earlier. Diana said, "Did anyone notice if Sarah's risk assessment?" Oh yeah, okay. In Sarah's risk assessment, there was mention that she had a casual female partner in retention, which gave her a +3 to her risk score. But it was never referenced
did
again.
see
I
that.
remember that as well. I remember reading that and being like, "Who?" What? And I couldn't tell if that was like, oh, I'm so glad you brought this up because I couldn't tell if that was in the risk assessment. I couldn't tell if that was real, if her relationship was an actual real thing that happened and we just didn't get it on page, or if it was a lie from the risk for the risk assessment score. And I don't know.
Right.
But like I don't know. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Maybe it was her roommate.
What if it was a
Diana-
dream?
Right. Oh my God. Wait, what if
It
she
could've
had a
been
dream about
anything.
someone else in the center? It didn't feel like
true.
we like I didn't ever see any romance on page
No.
between her and
For
anyone
her.
else, right?
Yeah.
Other than like
Yeah.
in dreams and her husband, obviously, but like
Yeah. That
that's
whole
so weird.
The whole little segment, like with her medical records in general, was just so drawing because there was like you get a glimpse into it in the risk assessment. I mean, I think we all already knew this, but it doesn't make sense. And like it's so flawed because she was getting like she got marked -3 points for being on birth control was like one thing. Like but she had like there was a couple things where I was like, what does I'm just existing as a woman. How does this affect my risk for anything? And I was like,
Didn't she
wild.
get more points because she was assaulted in the teenage?
Yes. That was
yeah.
she was
Yeah.
sexually assaulted and that made her a bigger
Increased
risk.
her score.
That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus
Which, like,
3,
I think it
something like
just
that.
shows you like how like unfair. Like that's out of her control. That was
The fallibility
I remember reading
of
that and being
the
like, what the hell?
right.
Yeah, that was one of the
Excuse me.
few things I read like on my book and I just like was staring at it for a second.
Yeah.
It was just like wild.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the
This book
victim
had a lot of
shaming of it
moments that made
all.
me mad.
Yeah.
Which I think made me
So
like
many.
it more. I appreciate a book that riles me up, if I'm honest.
Gets you
agree.
invested. I definitely had to. I read my first Emily Henry book semi recently because it was one of those books that I put a hold on like 4 months ago because they're so popular. I read it, and then I read another one that I had put a hold on also several months ago. And right after this, I was like, yeah, I need the palate cleanser of this super formulaic romance now.
Yep.
But yeah.
I read another really, really dark dystopian book right after this. And after I finished that book, I was like, I've made a mistake. This is
Yeah.
not wise.
Yeah. After
So
this romance, I think I have like a sci-fi, an Ursula Le Guin book. If anybody's read Ursula Le Guin before, I
I
haven't.
feel like I've
It's my
heard
first
good
one.
things about Ursula Le Guin, so I'm excited for
Me
you.
too.
Wait, this is a
Thank
good
you.
this is a good closeout. What's everyone either currently reading or what is your next read if you have one planned? And then we'll kind of say then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, you go first, Bella.
Oh god. Great. Good. I was ready. I have 2 books that I'm currently reading, and I'll tell you a tiny bit about both. One, I'm reading Futbolista by Johnny Garza Villa, which I cannot recommend enough. It's so good. I started reading it I don't actually remember. Look, like everyone, I got way too obsessed with heated rivalry. It is what it is. I'm not shy about it, and I'm not ashamed. And what I will say is, this is like obviously a distinctly different book, but it has some of the vibes of heated rivalry that I loved. So if you also are like give me anything that is somehow adjacent to that kind of story, read Futbolista by Johnny Garza Villa. It's about it's football, soccer. Anyways, I'm reading that. I'm reading through a series of monster smut by Katie Roberts. So
Okay. Palette
We're in
cleanser.
our
is what it
freak
is.
era.
I'm in my freak era. Yeah, I'm like not shy about it. Okay, I'm reading smut now with monsters. So
Love to see
currently
that.
reading one about
Shout
a
out.
kraken.
Oh,
So yeah. Anyways, who's
Bella,
next?
can I ask you to share in the Discord?
Yes.
Can I ask you to
I
share in the
absolutely
Discord
will.
server your challenge? Okay, because I know that you
Oh
created
my
a
god,
challenge.
yes, my
So
freak
I
era
I am
challenge.
curious to see it. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
oh my
Shout out
gosh.
freak era.
I am ready.
Go.
I'm currently reading the Cinder series. I'm waiting for
Mm.
my hold for book 4 right now, but I'm enjoying that.
My next read, I need to read Catabasis by R.F. Kuang for my book club. So I went from big book to heavy book to big and I think heavy book.
Oh, it's heavy.
I don't know what I'm in for. I finished this literally not that long ago, but Catabasis is my next haunt.
Oh, it's like heavy as in like
Oh, that
it is
edition is
physically heavy.
stunning.
I have that edition too. I'm so excited to read
Wow.
it. It's
That is
so
really
pretty.
pretty.
Wow, fancy.
I have
got,
Everybody
one
pulling out their
other-
Calabasas.
Oh my god, you got the
I
different
don't have
version?
it.
Whoa, that one's cool.
My partner traveled to the UK like shortly after it came out, and I was like, I need you to bring something home for me.
Aw.
Mine.
And he did, obviously. Anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, I have the same edition of Shania. I will not get it because Fish is blissed out of her mind right now.
She's really chilling. I was about to say.
She's
Can I brag for a second? I
She's
just
being
moved
so
and I
chill.
got these lovely shelves. Like my living room is filled with
Yes.
these as well.
That's
Wow.
so cute.
good.
I love it.
So
Stunning.
good.
Oh, I love that. I need
I'm-
more shelves.
Same. I moved like 6 months ago. This is a shelf my mom brought from her house that she was like, I need to get rid of this. And that's the only shelf we have other than like the bookshelves I already owned and are overstuffed. I need to make this cute. This has not been cute.
Oh. Well, I'm reading Beach Read by Emily Henry. And then I'm going to
Yay,
read.
fun.
Oh, I can't remember what the name of the book. It's an Ursula Le Guin book, but I'm reading Beach Read.
Nice.
I am reading People We Met on Vacation by Emily Henry.
Okay.
Because,
Okay. Yeah.
It's for a book club, and at the same time I'm almost finished with the audiobook of Catfish Rolling by Karak Magai.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Nice.
And talking about catabases, fun fact, this year I decided to do the 26 books in 2026, and I wrote down 3 titles. The first 3 titles that I wrote down were Catabases, Babel, and Poppy War. And then I realized that it's the same author of all three. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do a full immersion.
Yes.
Oh my
Just
So,
go
god.
yeah.
through all of our fun.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I'm
Mm-mm.
going
That's so
to.
funny.
Yeah, I've just done that. I just read Babel, and I'm in the middle of Poppy War. But I think I'm gonna listen to the audiobook because I'm listening to it, reading it on Kindle, and I'm just kind of, but I know it's good. But audiobooks, it just grabs my attention more, I think.
I read
Because
the
I
first
read,
book of the Poppy War trilogy and I'm scared to continue. I loved it, but I'm afraid. I'm experiencing. It's like been a thing that I'm like I have to get back to it, but I have to wait until I'm ready to be like absolutely sucker punched by a book. So, yeah.
Okay.
My
Someday.
partner's read Poppy War, but I haven't read it.
It's so good. It's
He did
dark.
not like it.
Yeah.
he wants to learn
That's
Adobe
fair.
Animate.
Nice.
I don't think Animate
Okay,
exists
fun.
anymore. I think it turned
Oh.
it's like a new name. Or is that the new name of a different I think there was a point where either something became Animate or Animate became something else. I painstakingly
And
will
for what?
animate
Oh my god,
frame
what?
by
I
frame
paid
in
$80 for
Illustrator.
this thing? That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. I think we
One
did
is a
it.
love it or hate it.
I think we did.
I think we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Thank you all so much. Both one to everyone who joined today. Thank you all so much for chatting about this book. Also, huge shout out and thank you to all of the founding. Sorry, I cannot type and talk. I should be better at that. Anyways, huge thank you and shout out to all of the current and founding members of Shelf Care, the streamer book club. Because there are other folks that are not here on stream, but who are absolutely part of our group. Also, a little moment to say, hey, if other streamers would like to participate, this is a group that is like open to additional like members. Yeah, the idea, like my vision for this, for Shelf Care as like a group is that it's just like a bunch of streamers who like reading, and every time we pick a book, it's like, take it or leave it. Like if you're available for that stream and you're interested in that book, you join and you participate in stream. But if it's not your vibe, you just like wait for the next one. So anyways, if that sounds interesting to you and you're a streamer and you want to join in the future, just send me a message and I'll send you the info. Yeah. Can we do a really quick, once again, same alphabet order, just like a reminder of you and like what you have going on if you have anything going on. I'm Bella or not Bella. And the D&D campaign that I play, we're releasing episodes on YouTube. It's called Reincarnation. So you can check that out. That's what I have going on.
Fun.
Cute. Again, I'm Ari or Alcivis. I've mostly just been playing Silk Song, but sometimes I do graphic design on stream. I made our logo and stuff. So I
Yes,
do
it's
graphic
so
design.
cute.
And
Thank you.
I just submitted my application to be verified on VGen.
Woo!
So if any want to like follow me on VGen, it still helps. But I just submitted my application for verification. So that's what I have going is hopefully being VGen verified.
And
So
then
I
we'll all
can
come
have-
commission you and give you 5
Exactly.
stars. Well, this is beautiful example of Ari's work.
It was literally so fun.
Yes.
I
It's so
was
cute.
like sketching ideas and then I was like, I'm gonna make a little guy and I love him.
I love him.
He's so
So much.
so they.
So I'm Henley. I go by she, her. I do a lot of things on Twitch, but the new thing that I jumped on in 2026, it's a podcast. So I have a bookish podcast now, available on all the podcast platforms. That is called the Bookish Key because I'm Ellie's Key, and so I
Aw.
tried to be original with the name. So yeah,
I love
it's
it.
just me chit chatting about books because we love to chit chat about books. So
Yay.
that's it. That's me.
Aw, that's awesome.
My name is Shania. and I do a lot of crocheting. I grabbed some stuff here. Here's a little cat beanie. But I've just been doing a lot for the last year. Here's a little star bag. Oh,
I love those star bags so much.
Here's another
They're
one.
so cute.
Here's another little bucket hat.
I love it.
It's very cute. I don't have much going on, but I'm gonna play called the Lamb later, so come join our piss cult.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Pee.
It's cold.
Pee.
I'll be there.
I'm Giru. I am playing Danganronpa D3 tonight after I eat my dinner. So, murder mystery games. That's what we got going on right now.
Huge. Incredible. Also, a huge thank you to everyone in chat for joining us today and also talking so much with us. That was so cool. I really felt like we were in like a big giant book club. Thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts.
Amazing.
I loved that.
It was so cool and special. We will. So the idea was to do this quarterly. I think that was our plan for this book club. Sorry, my cat has decided right now she demands attention, so she's pushing my microphone around. So sorry. So we haven't picked our next book or when we're gonna meet next. But follow us. I'll just move with my microphone. It's fine. Follow our social medias. Just keep an eye out, and we will let you know what our next book is and when you'll be able to join us for our next discussion. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Yay. Thank you guys.
Any other goodbyes?
Thank
I
you.
don't know. That's all I got. Sweet.
I gotta eat some pizza.
I don't know
now.
how to end this.
That's all.
Nice, huge. I'm gonna feed my cats apparently. Okay.
Well, I am gonna say goodbye because it's already Sunday here. So I am definitely gonna
Please
say
go to bed. Thank you so
good-
much for joining
good
us.
night.
So late.
Yes.
absolutely. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.